like to follow up, if I could, Ms. Uddin, with a question that Mr. Goodlatte formed. Just a little clarification. The HHS mandate has a very narrow religious employer exemption that does not exempt religious employers who serve people of other faith. So the President requires that you, in a sense, discriminate in providing services to get this exemption, to get his exemption. But serving people of other faith is often a core purpose of many religious persuasions. It certainly is a core tenet of Christianity. If a religious group changes their behavior to serve only believers, thereby meeting the President's criteria, then that group would disqualify itself from receiving most federal money, such as money for faith-based initiatives, because the federal funding requires that the religious recipients of funds serve all people rather than discriminate. So what we have here is a situation where the President is saying that you can either be true to your faith and be stripped of federal faith-based funding, or you can violate your conscience and faith and continue to participate in these faith-based programs, it appears to me. In order to meet his criteria, you have to essentially make it impossible for you to qualify for other faith-based initiatives. So am I correct in comporting that the President's exemption criteria would force the Catholic Church to stop participating in faith-based initiatives based on the faith-based initiatives criteria?
I think you're correct in noting that there are a number of complicated consequences to the way that this religious exemption is laid out, and even including the safe harbor rule, which gives religious organizations with objections an additional year to comply with the mandate. But that doesn't take away the fact that there are a number of other transactions in which these same religious organizations would have to certify that they're in compliance with all federal law. And how does that work in the case of the safe harbor? The fact that they're both being asked to, saying that you can have the safety net, but at the same time, essentially in violation of federal law.
Well, it seems clear that you'd have to kind of choose between the two. Well, on the one hand, you couldn't serve non-believers, as it were. On the other hand, you must in order to qualify. So it's an incredibly complicated scenario.